Welcome to another episode of UCRD Reviews. So today we're looking at one of the new Metal Robot Spirits releases. This is the Zeta Plus C1 type. It's the MSZ-006 C1. This is a Task Force Alpha mobile suit. It appeared in Gundam Sentinel, the photo novel, as well as the manga. In Sentinel there were lots of Zeta Plus models. There's A-type, B-type, C-type. This particular one is the space type that was seen flanking the S-Gundam, XS Gundam on the Pegasus 3 class ship. The one in Unicorn that we saw that's very similar was actually an A1 type. It was a ground type, whereas this one's space. So they finally made a metal robot Demacia this one, and it's really, really neat. It looked amazing in all the promo pictures, and supposedly it transforms with little to no part swapping. So we'll take a look at that. So right off the bat here we have the box. The box is honestly kind of plain. There's not much to it here. It's the Zeta Plus. You have the writing on it. Typical of the Metal Robot Spirits releases. You have a little side profile over here, and then the top and bottom are the Wave Rider mode. On the back, you have some of the various things they can do, the line art for it and everything. So let's dig in here and take a look at it. Now that we've got everything opened up here, let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. So this is it. This is the Zeta Plus from Gundam Sentinel. Looks to be a pretty solid figure. The hip articulation's pretty complicated. We'll get into that, but it has a lot of articulation to it. The knee joints work real well. The feet aren't as articulated as I thought they would be. The heel, that's all one big chunk. The arms work well. Now, one thing with the figure, you know, these joints, it's a metal Robot Spirits. The joints were extremely stiff when I first opened up the figure. In fact, this joint here, where the arm rotates, wouldn't work at all. I could not get it to work whatsoever. So what I ended up doing was using some of this. This is 100% silicone oil. It's made for like shocks on RC cars. And I used a toothpick to dab it into the joints and then just kind of work the joint around. And it actually, I mean, you can see they're working just fine. When I first opened it, these wouldn't move at all. I couldn't transform the figure or anything. These wouldn't work. The elbows were extremely stiff. Half the joints in here wouldn't work. It was a mess. You know, with a figure this expensive, it's worth it to invest another $2 into some silicone oil. I mean, it makes a big difference. It'll help out a lot. But otherwise, it's a really nice figure once you get the joints working, and I'm really interested to see how the transformation process works. But let's get it built up here. So we have these little fuel pods that go on the wings. So we're gonna go ahead and throw these on there. And they just pop right in. This piece that they're going on to loves to come apart constantly, but I mean, it seems like it's just a piece that was meant to be glued on, and they didn't. But other than that, they work just fine. They just peg right in. Next, let's go ahead and do the backpack here. So this is the backpack. You want to fold this over. This is the peg that actually goes into the figure. Everything else in here moves pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and pop that in there, like so. There we are. The chest always kind of was weird. It doesn't really clip into anything. It's just loose. I didn't really understand that, but let's see, what else do we have here? So these are the hip-mounted beam cannons that's actually a slot where the beam saber handle goes. So we're going to go ahead and plug these in here. These are articulated, very similar to the XS Gundam. They're not easy to, there we go, to get in there. But once you do, it's not too bad. And we'll show you how to get the beam saber handles in there. It's pretty easy. They do have a tendency to fall out though. So we've got that in there. It's a very solid figure. I mean, you know, it's a metal robot spirits, which means it's extremely durable. The joints are going to hold up quite well. You know, they were very tight, but I'd rather that than have this figure be extremely loose, given its transformation feature. Other than that, you know, it's got the typical Kotoki sculpt to it. The head range of movement isn't really high, but otherwise it works well. So let's take a look at some of the accessories, because it has some interesting accessories with it. So starting off here, we have a pretty standard assortment of hands. If I can actually get them out. So these two right here are the gun hands. We've got some posing hands here, some more neutral posing hands. And these are for the beam sabers. And then we have some more posing hands here, more dynamic ones. We also have a replacement crest V-fin, one for the transformation process that is folded, which we'll get into more in detail. We do have, speaking of transformations, we do have landing gear. So there's one side, this is the other one. They feel like they're actually metal. This piece is plastic and the rest of this is metal. And then we have the front landing gear. And we have some, this piece right here is actually for attaching weapons from the DJ or the XS Gundam, which we'll get into more later. And we have some various stand pieces in here as well, which we'll go over in just a little bit. Now, in terms of weaponry, we do have two beam sabers. So you have blue blades. And they're not easy to get out of here. There we go. And then you have two beam saber handles. So they're pretty small. And you just attach these right in like so. The handles, like I said earlier, can actually store in here. And they go right in. They do have a tendency to fall out if you want to get them out. You just move them over and they pop right out. But that works well. And the other big weapon here is the Beam Smart Gun. Quite large, typical of a Gundam Sentinel mobile suit. So this folds out. This is actually the handle here, as well as the landing gear. This is where the attachment goes for the arm. The radome swivels, and then if you're very careful here, you flip this piece up, and out comes another handle, and it can move that way as well. So it's very detailed. You want to be careful of this piece here, but everything looks really good, and it's quite a large gun. But there's more to it, and we'll show you that once we get into the Wave Rider form. I believe it, yes, it separates as well. We'll check out the rest of this in a little bit. Alright, so we have the stand set up for the Zeta Plus. This is the stand here. It's got quite a bit of information on it. This piece also moves up and down. This piece can move outward, and this peg here can move back and forth. So we're going to go ahead and attach the Zeta Plus to the stand. So you can use this piece here, or you can use a clear version of it, which is this one. But they both attach the same way. So you're going to take the figure here, and you're basically going to attach this piece right in the center here, just like that. And it just fits right down onto the stand. I don't have him in a very dynamic pose, but that's how he goes onto the stand. But it's really easy to use. You can pose him pretty well, and he stays on there really, really well. He's not coming off. There is another stand piece you can use, which is this one. So the way this one works is you take the backpack here, and you would actually remove this piece, and this just plugs straight through like so. If you'd like to attach it more toward the back of the figure as opposed to in the waist joint, but this piece is an alternative. Another piece that I'm not going to quite cover very thoroughly is actually this one. This is used as a kind of a conversion kit for the XS Gundam Girl figure to put the Zeta Plus's backpack onto the figure. You would use this piece to attach everything. I don't have that figure, but that's what this piece is for. So the next thing I want to do here is actually go through the transformation process of the figure. It's a fairly lengthy process. Once you figure out what you're doing, it's not too difficult. There's some little tricks to it to make everything work correctly. Having the joints loosened is vital to this. When everything was stiffened up when I first got the figure, I basically couldn't transform it. So you really need to look into, if you get a figure that's like that, which it sounds like most of them are, you want to work on the joints first. But to start off with the transformation process, you have to take off the antenna here and replace it with the folded one. Be very careful with it because they are obviously breakable. But that is the only part swapping that is necessary for this transformation process, which is kind of cool. Everything else is moving pieces around. So now that we've done that part, we're basically going to push the head down. It's on almost like a platform. You'll hear it click. You're going to push your arms out like so. And the whole chest piece is going to come up. And it's going to, you're going to want to utilize these joints here. And the whole thing is going to come up and over. You want to make sure you clear the V-fin there. There's a little peg in here. Pull that up. Close up the chest. So it looks kind of funny to begin with. But the confusing part is next. So next we got to do the legs. So now that we've got that done, I'm going to go ahead and take this piece off so we can see a little better. We have the legs. So you rock them forward, and that unlocks them from their joints. These pieces are going to fall off, so I'm going to beat them to the punch and pull them off. Now the leg joints they look really complicated and crazy, but basically all we're doing here, you're going to pull the leg forward and have it come out. And you're basically going to get it where it's looking like that. And then you want to go up with it and come down with that middle piece. And keep trying to come down with it. Once you get it there, there's a clip here. This clip can come out, and it actually clips onto the leg where this little notch is. So now it's a matter of just lining everything up correctly so that that clip will clip into the leg. And that's, in all honesty, probably the hardest part of this whole transformation process, because it's almost sheer luck. There we go, getting it in there. Now it's in there. So now we got to do it for the other one. Come out with it, over, and then just keep working our way up here, like that. Pull this little clip out. See if I can do this side even easier. Probably not though. Aha, there we go. Fantastic. So now the easier part, we work on the arms. The arms are going to come straight over, facing straight out, and you'll see they kind of settle into place. And then from here, they go down. I'll need to switch this one out. I can actually switch this one out for its other hand here, if I can find it. There it is. It looks a lot better with a fist. Perfect. So once we have the arms in this configuration, the next thing we need to work on is the backpack. So the backpack, you're going to come kind of up and over with it. You want to turn these out, and the backpack's going to fold down like so. Next we got to work on the wings. So the wings have multiple joints here, and what I usually do is move the guns kind of out of the way, and then back, and the wings will fold out, and you have this little, you can see it kind of sticking out there a little bit. This little tab here will actually plug into here. So we just have to get it kind of up and over. There we go. And it plugs right in. And now it's kind of adjacent to the arm. Gotta do the same thing on the other side here. So we're gonna move this out of the way. Gotta get the wing over. Move this back out of the way. I always forget to pull this little pin out. And just kind of work it backward against the arm until it plugs. And then we're good there too. Now the rest of this is fairly easy. So with the legs, now that we have the legs a little more situated here, you want to fold the knee joint kind of into itself here, like so, and around. And then push the foot back, and it should sit right like so. We'll do that to the other side. So knee joint into the leg, and bring it around, and then foot back. And now we have the guns to work on. So they're pretty easy. All we really have to do here is move them out and over, just like that. I'm going to do it to the other side here. Go out and over. Real easy. So for this last part here, we need to attach this to the Wave Rider form. So first thing we're going to do is fold this piece up, like so. And there's two different attachment points here. This piece is actually going to attach to the nose of the WaveWriter form. And you have a notch in here, and that's actually going to attach to this piece right here. That should be pretty easy. So all we have to do is I always attach this piece first. You'll hear it snap. And then you just kind of work that down, and that'll lock into place. And there you have it. So now I gotta put these pesky parts back on here. Parts that love to fall off. I'm gonna go ahead and attach this again. It's gonna sit right there. And that is it. That is the WaveWriter form. And it is pretty amazing. So let's take a look at the landing gear part of it. First thing you want to do is take these little panels out. You have one there, and you have two here. And you should be able to attach everything. So they just pop right in. Pretty easy. And I have this one here. You have 4 landing gear pieces, one's already attached to the gun. And the last one is sitting right here. Or not. We tried. There we go. All right. Now, it should stand on its own. And it does. So it's actually sitting on its own landing gear, which is perfect. So now let's show some of the stand configurations for it. So this is the first stand configuration piece. This is actually 2 different pieces of the stand. So you have this piece here, then you have the back piece attached. The back piece actually attaches into the hip joint area, and then this piece attaches into the gun. And it gives some more dynamic poses to the WaveWriter. It sits kind of high, and it's not as sturdy as the other piece I'm about to show. So let's take a look at that one real quick. So this piece is actually my preferred method of displaying the WaveWriter mode. So we have this piece here. This is a little connection, and it goes this high sides to the top. This is a bottom stand piece for the front, and then this piece is what connects to the gun. So we're going to go ahead and connect everything up. And it's pretty easy to get it in there. It's just a matter of getting everything connected. So there we are. This is a much sturdier way to display the WaveWriter mode, and I think it looks really nice. So for the last 2 stand pieces here, we have these. This one is for connecting the DJ's Hyper Mega Launcher to the stand, and this one's for connecting the XS Gundam's Beam Smart Gun to the stand. So I don't have the DJ, but I do have the XS Gundam. So we're going to go ahead and look at this one. This is the connector piece you're going to be using. Looks nice and confusing, but we'll make it fairly simple. So first you need one of these. Now, easy way to do this, you move the handle over. This piece will connect to the bottom here, like that. Right like that. And then this piece connects on the forward hard point of the fighter here. Like so. So now you have it with two really big guns instead of one. So you remove this piece. We're going to use a smaller one. And it basically just rests on there. So we're going to get the stand on there correctly. And that's it. It sits just like that. So it's really easy. The DJ's gun works very similarly. So I hope you enjoyed the review. I know it was kind of long. I wanted to go through the transformation process in its entirety. But this is it. This is a fantastic figure. I mean, that is a very solid Wave Rider form. And, you know, for Gundam fans, we all know the Wave Rider form in the Zeta Gundam. It hasn't really been translated in figures very well. But this time, they nailed it. It's a great figure. It has very minor joint issues, which, again, can be fixed with this stuff. I found it for a couple bucks on Amazon. Worked out perfectly. It comes with all the accessories it needs. You know, you have your standard set of hands, all the weaponry. And you have a whole bunch of, you know, you have a really modular stand system here for this one. You have accessories for parts from other figures. I mean, it comes with just about everything it needs. It has all the features that it really needs. And then the way all the joints lock in with the Wave Rider form and in mobile suit mode is really nice. You know, because of everything, you know, I was gonna give it a 9 out of 10 just because there's not much room to improve. And aside from the joint issue, I mean, it's pretty much a perfect figure. I'd say they can maybe get a little bit more articulation in there, but with this complicated transformation process and being able to do it without changing out anything except for the V-fin, you know, that's pretty groundbreaking for this figure line. So 9 out of 10 is my score for this one. And it's a tough one. It wasn't easy getting this good of a figure out of it. I know it took a lot of engineering, but they made it, and it's fantastic. So definitely pick it up. I think I got mine for around $175 US, but it's well worth it. So thank you for watching this review. Sorry it was so long. And look for me next time. I should have another episode up for the GM cold climate type. So I'll see you next time.